Today, I'm going to be using Super to create a Notion website. Super is a service that allows you to take a public Notion page and turn it into a website with a custom domain. I'm going to create something like an about page for my blog. I'm also in the future planning to put up some more personal articles on this website, so the added SEO feature that Super has now is really beneficial. So the real aim of this video is to just watch me build this. I don't know how interesting that's going to be, but I figured I wanted to try Super out anyway, and if anyone else is looking into using Super, maybe this video can give you some inspiration. So yeah, let's just get right into this. Firstly, let's take a look at the Notion page I created inside of my workspace that will eventually transfer over to Super. What I'm using here is a custom domain called redgregory.me. Of course, the title of my page is not going to be my domain. I'm going to call it About Me. Below that, of course, I have my picture. I have a little snippet about how I am a Notion ambassador. So that's just a little introduction. Below that, I have a page where I want to put in a form from Typeform for you guys to suggest some content for me. Below that, I just have some basic bullet points about me. And below that, I'm going to have a database here. So this is going to be a really simple database where I'm just showing a roadmap of what I'm up to, what I'm reading, what I'm writing, what I'm filming, and what I'm building. So I want to do a few things with this database. Number one, I want to be able to create buttons out of these cards. I want it to actually go to an external page. I don't want it to click through to like this little internal card like Notion has. I also have just a quick little write-up about my rules for making content in 2021. Now down below that, I have a toggle to a code block for CSS. This is where I want actually for you to see, if you go to my website, what CSS I'm using. And that's what we're gonna do in this video, is figure out how to design this to make it look nice. So the first thing you do is you're gonna pick between super static and super default. I don't know about the SEO. I'm gonna figure that out as time goes on, but apparently it gives you better SEO. The only issue with super static option is that it is not yet compatible with calendars and timelines. So if you really want a calendar on your site, a calendar database, maybe use super default for now. So site settings, I have my site name, About Red Gregory. I have my custom domain that's coming from Squarespace, and the public Notion URL. So that's basically just going to my About Me page and copying and pasting, or going to share actually, and you can copy the link to the page you made. And if I were to continue, there is an option if you use super static where you can prettify some URLs. So naturally, when you make a Notion page, there's a bunch of letters and numbers at the end of the URL. That's the ID. So here you'll be able to replace those numbers and letters and create your own URL slug. I don't know if I'm going to use that here in this video, but I do plan on using it in the future. So DNS records. This is where it gets a little complicated for people who aren't familiar with DNS. A lot of these options, if you have a GoDaddy site or a Google Domains or any of these here, Bluehost, it's a really easy integration. If you do not, like me, I have Squarespace, you'll have to copy and paste two of these elements into your DNS records manually. So super options. This is the last option. This is where you can start customizing your site. So you have custom fonts, you have a site image you can upload, a custom favicon, and this is right in here, this snippet injection. This is where we're going to put all of our CSS. What I'm going to do first is upload a site image. This is just going to be my logo. And I'm going to have my logo also be the favicon. Anyway, so down here you have enable or disable site search. I would say enable that. Show or hide page properties, I would show that. And search engine indexing, of course, enable that as well. Let's start messing around with the CSS. So I'm gonna go into my snippet injection here, and here are some of the colors I wanna work with. I have my background color, my text color, my blue highlight, which is gonna be all of my callouts I wanna turn blue, my link color, which is more of a brighter blue, and I also have my highlight. The first thing I'm gonna do actually is get out of here, go to community, and they have actually a guides page inside of their homepage, and there is how to change the colors on your super site. So I'm gonna start with this. I'm gonna copy this and paste it down here. And here I can change the background and the text to start. So going over here, I want to change my background to this light, sort of light steely blue. And the text I want to be this sort of a charcoal gray. So let's see how this looks. I'm just going to copy this and put it inside of the snippet injection, save it. It still looks the same. The background has not changed, but if I refresh again, there it is. So that was pretty quick. Firstly, I want to change that yellow highlight and the gray highlight. What I'm gonna do is copy this, or no, this one's the BG, right? Yeah. Paste it, and I'm just gonna change default to gray, and then change this color to the gray I want, which is this one here. And I'm also going to change the color of the background yellow. And yeah, I'm gonna replace it with this yellow. Let's copy that, paste it in here, and I'm just gonna delete this and paste in the new script, save. Looks like it didn't update yet. Maybe if I refresh one more time, there it is. So it's a bit lighter. I think it matches the background more. And yeah, my highlight is definitely brighter. It's almost maybe too bright, but I don't mind. All right, so let's move on to the next thing. I want this padding here to minimize. That'll probably help this sort of bring this card in. Kind of want to just highlight this entire thing. Probably won't be able to. Here it is, okay. I want this little purple kind of divider here. I want to locate that, which it looks like is gap. And I want to grab gap. All right, so let's mess around. Let's actually make this 8. Just make it half the width. Also put that important tag. I could probably just do gap, but we'll do all 3. And paste this in. I have a feeling I'm gonna have to shorten that gap a little bit more, but let's just see. Refresh that one more time. Yeah, looks like we'll have to shorten that gap a little bit more. So instead of 8, let's do 5. Perfect. Let's stick with that. So before tackling the board view, I actually want to come up here because it's bothering me. This whole section, it's kind of just like one big box, and I don't want that. And really a quick fix for this is probably to just change the size of the font here. So I'm just going to change this to heading 3. And hopefully that translates. There it is. Yeah, I like that a lot better. The next thing I want to do is change the font. I'm actually perfectly okay with this font, the default font, but for the sake of doing something different, I'm going to use this font called Red Hat Display and just see how this looks. Probably not going to mess around with this too much because I know I could spend like all day trying to figure out the type. I don't love it immediately, but you know, that's how you can change the font. I'll change that off camera. The next thing I want to do is change all these tags in the board view, and I want them all to be the same color. I want them to all have this blue background, and I want all the links, all of the font colors to have this blue. Let's look at the inspect and just mouse over. Looks like just .notion pill is what I'm looking for. So I'm going to highlight this and see if this works. And let's see if background - color is all I need to do. Also, to change the color of the text, I'm just going to say color without background, and that should work. Let's just do that real quick and see if that helps. and it did work. Okay, so let's move on. What I want to do next is in each of these cards in Boardview, I want to give it a border. And I want that border to be this light blue. So again, going to inspect, I'm just going to mouse over a single card. And it looks like I need just collection card, notion.collection card. I'm just going to change the border. So let's just copy this. And I'm gonna go border. I want it to be a solid border, 2px, and this color. All right, let's see how this looks. Nice, okay. Now what I want to do is whenever I click into any one of these, it kind of just shows up as a page with the properties. I don't want to do that because I'm not writing in these pages. I'm just telling you what I'm currently doing. So instead, let's go back to Notion. First of all, what I want to do is show my status tag. By looking at the community tag inside of Super, I found a way to create an external link. So to do that, you're going to go super : link. And it is case sensitive, so that link has to be capital L. And then you have to show the super link in the property through the card. And that should be it. Let's refresh and see what happens. Cool. And also all of those tags within the card show up with that blue background. Now if I were to click into this, it should send me to Goodreads, which it does, and it'll send me to the book. For filming, I have set up that it's going to send you to my YouTube channel. And for what I'm building, a premium library template, I'm just going to send you off to Twitter. Pretty simple. When I click on filming, it sends to the YouTube channel. So, oh cool, I have 8,000 subscribers now. I didn't even know. Thank you for subscribing. Go down to the next thing I want to do. Actually, I'm really surprised that Boardview didn't take me very long to figure out because I thought that would be like the hardest thing to do. So I'm pretty much almost done, especially with this design. I feel like there's nothing else. Maybe this call out. Yeah, these call outs I need to figure out. What I'm going to do is make sure that every single call out I make is going to be, again, the same color, just like I did these tags. And I'm just going to mouse over after clicking that little arrow to a call out. And here is what I probably need, .notion callout. And in here, what I want to do is just say background color, again, is going to be this light blue. Do I want it to be this light? Yes, I do. And just put that right in there. And like I did before, I'm just going to make sure I put important. And you know what? I also want to get rid of that border because I know that border's there. So border, none, important. That's exactly what I want, but now I want to change the color of every single link on my website to that brighter blue, like this link here and all of those links inside of callout. So I'm going to find that again in here with inspect and just mouse over the link. And that is this here .notion semantic string .link. Okay, and I'll just change the color of this. So that'd be color. And this color here, important. I also want to get rid of that line underneath, this line here. Don't like that. Looks like border bottom is a style that is doing that. So I'm going to just put that in here, border dash bottom, none, and again, important. Copy this and see how this looks. And there it is. So we have that link turned to blue, and all of these links should be blue as well with that light blue background. Actually, what I want to do is move these two down here to the About Me page. Do something like this. Put that above the CSS. If I do want to keep this here, I hate this color behind the text. We're going to change this to transparent. And looks like it is .notion code pre. And background color we need to change. And I just want the background color actually to just be transparent and make sure that's important. And there it is. All right, so the last thing I want to do is include a type form inside of this link up here. Want to suggest content. I've already made it in type form. It is really easy to make type forms, so if you're interested in adding something like this to your Notion space, it's a really easy process. I'm just gonna copy this link, go back into my workspace and go to /typeform, and here it is. And you can just sort of flip through and fill it out. The last thing I want to do is come down to the bottom, go to my subscribe to my newsletter page, and embed another form. There it is. I also want to get rid of this title here. I feel like it's going to look odd with this subscribe to my newsletter title, so I am just going to remove it. Create an embed should come up as an option, and really all I have to do is adjust the size of this. Before I go and add a Buy Me a Coffee embed, I'm going to see how this looks with these two embeds. This first form looks like it loaded relatively quickly. And yeah, that one looks pretty nice too. So let's now go into my Buy Me a Coffee dashboard. So what I'm gonna do is go all the way to the bottom, generate a widget, and I do want it to be blue. Generate that, copy the code. It is in script, which is exactly what we need. Copy that, go back into that little snippet box. I'm gonna go to the very end and just enter down and paste and see what this does. I'm just gonna save and reload the page. And it looks like my embed showed up. So if I click on it, it should give you the option to donate to me. That is pretty much my about page completed. The only thing I'm probably going to tweak off camera is the font. But if I sat here and dealt with the font in this video would be very long because that is a very big decision for me. So let's just go right into the outro. My initial impression of Super is that the site speed is pretty quick. I am surprised by that. I am also happy with the ability to inject CSS and also inject other scripts, albeit sort of limiting in terms of UI, but their roadmap does show that they are working to make that process a little bit easier. I also really like how everything is inside of Notion. I can update my website from in there. One thing that is a little off-putting is that whenever you load the website, the font or the formatting of the font sort of lags, and you can see the prior font before your custom font loads. Lastly, Super does have a subscription, so it does cost money. There is an alternative called Fruition that you can totally check out as well. I'll leave all those relevant links down below. I'll also leave an affiliate link to Super if you want to use Super yourself. And yeah, I'll see you guys the rest of the week on Twitter, and I'll see you next week.